stand up for yourself, and I'll back you up, 'cause problems don't solve themselves. I'll tell you what, instead of would or could, I think you should draw a line in the sand and stand your ground. It's for your own good.
Hello, my name is Roy Poyan, and I want to welcome you to another episode of The Voice of Families and Addiction. Today we're going to take a look at Chapter 10. It is the final chapter in the workbook Reentry Curriculum, Merging Two Worlds. This can be found on our website, familiesimpactedbyopioids.com, as a download PDF on the tab or the page marked Reentry. What we're going to conclude with is resiliency. Boy, there can't be enough said about resiliency. It's hopefully something that, you learned as a child to be resilient. Not to be confused with, I hit trauma and I found a place to park it, or I didn't find a good place to park it, but I got through it. That's not really resiliency. When we talk about resiliency, let's just kind of give this some air and space and let it flow a little bit. Resiliency primarily has a lot to do with your self-confidence. Well, that's, that could get kind of deep, when we start to talk about confidence. And, when would we use resiliency? An apartment manager says, no, I'm not going to lease to you. You have a felon. Well, do you just give up? Do you sit there and say, I'm a bad person? I don't deserve this? Or do you demonstrate, a kind of resiliency where you come up with a creative solution, or you find a way to kind of like be playful with yourself? Say, yeah, I expected that jerk to say that. You don't want to say that in front of him, but you might think that way. He's not really a jerk. He's just doing his job. But the fact is, you had to deal with it. You have to get through it. You have to find a way to get through it that's satisfactory to you, not damage your self-esteem or your ego. Life will throw zingers, and it's not a matter of did they penetrate you, or did you catch them in your glove, or did they bounce off of you. It's more a matter of it does happen, it will happen. How did you allow it to affect you? That's where self-confidence comes in. That's where self-esteem comes in. That's where your identity, your self-identity, your consonants of yourself, your consoles of yourself. And so when we start to look at your experiences, and you start to look at things like expecting the unexpected, and you start to look at things like judgment and non-judgmental, then you're answering questions on page 276 and 277 and 278. This is a very important tool to assess yourself with. And it does state that you'll go to page 310 to see what it is that you can do about the scoring of the results of this. So what I'm helping you to do is to administrate this book. You'll see that after you take a certain assessment tool, it's going to say, refer to the guide on page whatever. In this case, it says on page 278, refer to the guide on page 310. So turn to that page after you complete the assessment, take your score, and see what they describe that score means. Hope you follow that. If not, replay this and do it again. So resiliency skills. The resiliency skills is kind of like a menu. No one has it all. No one's developed the perfect way to be resilient. Nobody can teach you that this is how you are resilient. Once you do this, you are resilient, commando. That's not achievable. It's not the point of it. The question is, your spirituality plays in this. Your perseverance plays. These aren't just words. Your perseverance means you don't give up despite the obstacles. Your relationships, you're able to build and maintain relationships. Your humor, you can see the funny things in a lot of different things. Doesn't mean you have to make fun of them or bring them up, but you can see them. So their perspective, do you understand the situation? Assertiveness, flexibility, can you adapt to the changes as they occur? Your creativity, your goal setting, your decision making, your friendship. I'm reading off of page 279, and you need to also because this list of about 20 specific skills is resiliency. You either do it often, sometimes, or never. If you mark at least 10 in the column, then it's often. If you mark less than that, then it's and never, then it's, you'll get that score on it too. So with that in mind, we're going to move on to kind of the pinnacle parts. By the way, I don't want to gleam over that too quickly. I'd like to redraw your attention. This is an outstanding list. Okay, I've done a lot of reading and reviewing of different types of, there's people that have done more than me, but in my reading, I should say, this list is very good quality of describing. So if somebody sits there and say, Roy, give me a list of what resiliency skills are, I would pull this out in a heartbeat and have confidence to say that this is really going to help define your answer. Confidence. Dreams are not waste of time. Some people will say, oh, that's a dream. It'll never happen. Stop wasting your time daydreaming. Imagination is very important. It is very important. When you're thinking about your goals, it's even more important. Just wishing or dreaming likely won't make your dreams come true, but sometimes with a good plan, you can make things shape up. You can bring in the pieces, and then let's see where you are. So your confidence to understand your wishes and your dreams about what you'd like to see or how you'd like to be or where you would like to be are very important. Okay, it's not like, oh well, you shouldn't have any aspirations. You're a con, or you're a drug addict. Bunk. The fact is, you should, could, and will, and do, and we want you to, and it's good, and you should feel good about yourself when you do it. That's plain and simple. Let nobody take that away from you, and you'll be much better off for it. Be positive. Smile. These are ways that you show that you're confident. Stand tall. Say hi. How are you? And listen to the answer. Just try it. Make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. You're that much closer to getting it right. There's corporations where they put that on the wall. Rush towards mistakes. Well, I'll tell you what, the mistakes can be costly. Yeah, but so are the lessons learned. And that's not a bad idea in what you're doing. Be careful and be safe and make sure your mistakes don't harm others. But the fact is, it's not such a bad thing to make a mistake. Help somebody out. When we help somebody out, we learn a lot about ourselves and do what you love. Oh boy, how many times, when I was without a job, somebody would sit there and say, well, Roy, you should do what you love. And I'd sit there and I'd think, oh, just shut up. I got a family to feed here. I've got a mortgage to pay. Don't tell me to do what I love. I need money that's on the table. Well, that's what you love. Well, what do you mean, money? That sounds like not a good idea. No, you love being the person that puts food on the table. You love living your life in a way that you're serving the needs of others. You love caring about yourself, and you love caring about those that are kind of counting on you, not letting others down. You love not letting other people, oh, okay. Well, that is different, okay? And I do that, and I want to do that, and I want to identify with that, and that's what builds my self-confidence. And nobody's going to take that away from me. I hope you're listening. I hope you will incorporate this in part and make it your own. Make it your own is really important, not that you just heard it said. So with that in mind, no excuses, okay? That's how you get to where you want to be. No excuses. He's lucky things never worked out for me, like that for me. Oh, really? Don't say those things. Oh, it's too early. I'm too young. Or it's too late. I'm too old. Or I got a felon and I can't do it. I'll ignore the problem and hope no one notices. They'll notice. Most importantly, you notice, and most importantly is God noticed. So there's always somebody looking over your shoulder, and he knows everything. So you're not going to get away with that. Life is not fair. Yes, life is fair, okay? Because life is life, and we are here to live in it. So fair, not fair, hard, easy, that's life. All of it blends together to become, that's your life. So take all of it and say, it's okay. This is my life. In my past experience, I've had incredible failures. I mean, I have really messed things up. And then I've had incredible successes. And I've had people that have hated me. I've had people that have loved me. And I've done people wrong and I've done people right. And it all comes together. That's Roy. Okay, I guess I'll have to hang my hat on it because that's who I am. But I'll be honest with you. I tried. Okay? And if you go down that litany list of resiliency skills, I'm not going to say often, but I'm going to say I know what that skill means because I've experienced it. And you do too. And now because you have a list of resiliency skills, you can understand that you've experienced it, and understanding that you've experienced something is half the game. So, confidence. You've got to take a look at, not you've got to, it would benefit you to take a look at page number 286 and understand what it means to have confidence. Do I have it? Now let's talk a little bit about motivation. You know, it's nobody's job to motivate you. Sometimes dopamine, not sometimes, the purpose of dopamine is to motivate you. Dopamine played a pretty nasty role with you if you were involved in addiction. But the absence of dopamine means you're probably not getting out of bed. It's actually a measurable quantity. So with that in mind, low self-confidence can decrease your motivation to get things done. So if you're finding that you're not getting things done, do a test and see how is my confidence doing. In case of the not nows, no, not now. No, I don't think I can, not now. If you find yourself saying that, you're basically screaming out for help. You really are lacking in motivation. And in case of, I'll just give up. I'm going to stop doing this. No, I really don't want to continue on with this. I'll just stop. And then, what will they think? You know, I mean, if I do these things, what will they think? These affect your motivation. Your self-talk and the way that you look at your life, that's where you draw from. That's your pool. That's your refreshment. It's cool water from a well of really good tasting water, and you're very thirsty. Okay, drink from it and learn. Learn about, what motivates you. Take a look at page 291, and you'll see a whole list of things that motivate people. Maybe some of them are yours. If they are, remember that idea of relationships? Have a relationship with what motivates you. Do it deliberately. Don't do it by happenstance or nobody put it together for me, so I just chose not to do it. No, create your own motivational environment. Create an environment that keeps and helps you maintain being motivated in life. Low confidence, procrastination, not now, give up, and what will they think? That's the LPNGW of, oh boy, I'm in trouble. So stay motivated. Take a look at 293, and you'll see the consequences. Use rewards. Use create expectations that are achievable. Establish deadlines that are reasonable. Team up with people that are good for you to be around. Trust and respect others. Trust and respect yourself first, and then do it for others. Set goals. Be creative. Raise the bar. Don't say, well, I'll just do the bare minimum. If you're a bare minimum kind of guy, you will have low motivation because you'll have low self-esteem because you will know that you're the type of person that sets low expectations of themselves. So raise the bar and have some fun and mix it up some. So we're on page 295, and we're looking at the idea of a transitioning. So in life, there'll be one thing for sure, things will change all the time. During life, there are times when you make a transition into a new situation, a stage of life. Some people think transitions as a bridge that connects old with the new or familiar with unfamiliar. So depending on what it is and how it occurs, new ideas and experiences are often gained when others give up. So go ahead and embrace transition by having goals. Understand the transition and what do I do differently to make the transition move. And I'm on page 296. We actually give you the ability to write this out as an exercise. Take the time to do the exercise. You will benefit from it. And the same with writing the goal on 297. So my transition crisis plan is, what if these things don't go as I had expected? Remember, in goals, in that chapter, we talked about now write exactly what you're going to do should this not be achieved. That's important. I talked about in the Army when we were setting out what they call the line of departure. We would leave the tactical assembly area. So we had all our beans, bullets, waters, and troops, and tanks and everything, and we would move out. Everybody had a plan. Oh my gosh, the enemy's nowhere where they said that they would be. They have rapidly moved to an eastern part of our battle zone. Now we have to adjust our plan. So this is kind of a crisis, unless, of course, we had a plan for if they move to the east side of the battlefield. So with that in mind, we just implement plan number 2. Okay, so expect the unexpected and plan for it. So be realistic and be investigative. Think of yourself kind of as an artist in the way that you create your own social spheres, and be energetic and be conversational. You know, seeking to be the best you could be, you can really get carried away with it. Our final chapter in reentry is to first love yourself and be kind to yourself and know that you're trying. Apply everything in this book. Oh boy, that's a biggie. Yeah, it is a biggie. But, you know, let's face it, you're starting out from what is a very bad situation. No, we're not going to put the gloves on. It's a bad situation, and you're going to make good of it. You are the rising phoenix. If you know the story of the bird in the desert that they thought was going to die and turned into a ball of flame and shot up in the air. Well, you don't need to shoot up in the air. You don't need to impress people. Be the best that you could be. Be understanding and loving of yourself. Move forward and understand change and transition are a way of life, not a happening. They just are an ebb and flow of the way of life. And hopefully that through this book, you will have gained a better understanding of what it is that you can and have the ability to become, because it's true. Now, for the family members taking this course, thank you. Be supportive and understand that the person you care about, if they're taking this material too, and hopefully they are, you don't have to take it together. The family can do this before you're released, or the family can do it together with you when you're released, however you choose to do it. But this should give the family confidence that there really is a good way and it is understood. We know what you're going through. We've just told you in these chapters what you can do about what you're going through. All we ask is that you bring yourself to the table and you make ownership of this, and you make it your own. But first you need to understand it. If you have any questions, give me a call. I can be reached at 440-385-7605, and I can answer your questions. I'm not going to tell you that if you do this, you'll get that. That's for you to decide. That's for you to experience. I may suggest, and probably suggest, here are some areas that you need to get in touch with or look at. But the work will always be yours, regardless of who you're talking to. And that's good, because there's nobody better than yourself to decide the direction that you're now going to go into. Think of this, and it truly is. It truly is. Think of this as a new beginning. You have a new lease on life, and you get to decide what it is. I kind of think that that's pretty cool. And I want to wish you the best of luck. And I just pray that God's hand will be on everything that you do. And I hope that you embrace and experience that love that not only do we have to give you, but that the Lord is giving you. Because with that, you'll always succeed. Thank you for listening to the Voice of Families and Addiction. And have a great day.
Stand up for yourself and I'll back you up, 'cause problems don't solve themselves. I'll tell you what, instead of would or could, I think you should draw a line in the sand and stand your ground. It's for your own good.